Alright everybody, here we go again. So we are going to, if you've never been to this channel before, this is us going to start a new portrait, and this is basically going to be me talking my thoughts out, and this should hopefully be good for beginners and those who aren't beginners, because the most important part of, for me, the most important part of drawing is the start. How do we start this thing? What do we do? Where do we begin? And so I'm just going to kind of go through my thoughts and let you see what I'm thinking, and I think this should help out those who want to learn how to draw. So what I'm doing now is I want to establish where this picture is going to fall on this paper. So I'm looking at the portrait, I'm trying to see where her head is, and I'm going to use the paper as a, you know, measurement for where things are going to fall. So for example, let's say, where do we want the top to be? You know, obviously the top is going to be, well, the top actually goes a little higher than what you're seeing. So we'll just, for right now, put it right here. I'm looking at the camera and I'm seeing that's going to be about the top. Okay. Where do I want her chin to be? You know, if I made her chin right here, then her head's going to be pretty small, which means her body's going to come down to about here, and I'm going to have all this wasted space. So I want to take up as much of this paper as possible. So if I'm saying the top is going to be about here, then I'm looking at the picture, her chin comes down below the halfway mark. So if this is about the halfway mark of the paper, her chin comes down below that. So I'm just gonna guess right now and just say maybe her chin is gonna be about here. So see, I'm just putting a couple marks, or just little landmarks for our brain to focus on layout. So if that's gonna be the chin, I do want to try and get her chest in there, and so I'm just gonna guess. If that's the size of her head, I'm going to say maybe her chest is down in this area. And all these measurements can be changed. These aren't set in stone. Okay. So that's all. That's how we're starting. Top of the head, chin, chest is going to be down here. Now, I'm going to ask myself, how wide is the head? Well, if I'm looking at where the hair starts, I'm just going to say, you know what, let's just do this for ease. Let's just make like a big frame. Let's just say it comes out to here. And let's just draw this line straight down. Very lightly. But see, now look, we're creating this frame. Okay? And so now I can use this to kind of gauge where the hair starts. So I'm looking at this shape right here, the negative space. I'm not really looking at her hair, I'm looking at this space right here. How this kind of comes down, and then it goes to her shoulder. Now where's her shoulder start to turn? Well, if I'm looking at the picture, I'm trying to look at, I'm always comparing 2 points. So if we look at her chin and look at the top of her head in the picture, chin to the top of the head, it almost looks like the shoulder is the halfway point between these two. I don't know if that's the case, but let's just, you almost kind of feel like it is. So I'm just going to pretend, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to take about the halfway point, maybe a little higher, and I'll just say that's where the shoulder is. Okay, so now we know this comes down here, the shoulder comes out, almost to the edge, okay, and then the arm kind of comes down here. So I'm just kind of, what I'm doing here is I'm not going to try and draw all this out. I just want to get an idea of where the head is. Now, where's the head come on this side? Well, the space between the edge and where the hair starts, right here, this space, is bigger than this space, if you look at the picture. It might even be double this space, but not quite. So I'm just going to guess and say maybe it's about here. Okay, that the hair comes down here. So see, we're getting an idea of where the head's going to lie. Now, if I'm just looking at darks and lights, this is going to be hair, right? And the hair is going to come down. And I'm almost, just for the sake of argument, I'm just going to just draw it straight down like this. And up here, it looks like the hair kind of comes at this angle. And this is all going to be dark in here. See, this is very light and loose. I'm not thinking about how do I draw a face. I keep picking different parts and I'm going to go with that. I'm just going to go with, like I'm going with, this is going to be the chin down here. Now we might have to adjust it, but let's just see where this goes. Let's not be hard on ourselves. Let's just see where this goes. Okay. Right now it doesn't look like anything. Now, I'm going to take some guesses here. I can see that her face starts to turn where her cheek is, kind of where the shoulder is going to be. And what angle does that face come down at? I'm kind of looking at that angle. I'm just going to say it kind of comes down at this kind of angle, down to the chin. Alright, so just again, I'm just picking different things. The angle, chin right here. Chin's going to come up at that kind of angle, it looks like. I want to look at the tilt of the head. So it's that kind of tilt, right? Now, let me just see where her eyebrows might be. I'm looking at the picture. I want to look at how much space is up in this area. And let's just guess. Okay, a lot of this is guesswork. A lot of times when I'm drawing, or what stopped me from drawing for the longest time, was thinking that I always had to know what I was doing. And I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just taking things one step at a time. So let's just say this is the plane, or where her eyebrows are going to be. You know, it's kind of this tilt straight across. So we'll say that's her eyebrows, that's her chin. Where's her nose? Well, because we're looking sort of down at her, the space between her chin and her nose is going to be smaller than the nose to the eyebrows. This is going to be much bigger. So I'm just going to guess and say her nose is right in, well, I should say the tip of her nose, maybe. Maybe the tip of her nose is right in this area. Alright? Maybe. How wide is it? Maybe it's like this. Looks kind of funny on camera. Let me see if I can move the camera a little bit closer to, or more of a an angle that you could see. You're not really seeing what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it straight on. You're kind of at an angle. Alright, so if the eyebrows are going to be up in here, and this eyebrow kind of comes, well, I'm looking at the picture, and that goes almost to the, because of the hair, it almost looks like it comes to where the center of the nose would be. Very big here. But see, we're just slowly going to start adding more and more things to this drawing. Sort of the angle here. Now, this looks like it's going to be off. Now it looks like her cheek where I had it is not that close to the eyebrow. See, I'm already noticing things we have to change. So I have to decide, do we want to lower this down further, or do we want to raise the eyebrow up? I think I'm okay with the eyebrow there. So all this is going to change. And this is very important that you see how the drawing develops as we go on. How what we thought was going to be certain parts of the face are not going to stay that way. So now I'm measuring the space between the top to the eyebrow and then the eyebrow down to the cheek. And it looks like this space here makes a little triangle here. Looks like this space here is a third of this space. So I'm going to go a third, So it looks like we're about, like, maybe it comes down to about here now. And then this is where it starts to curve down to the chin. We'll keep the chin right there. But see how we're adjusting everything now. Now the shoulder is probably going to be closer down to here. But that's okay. See, we're just slowly adjusting things. So I'm going to say the nose. I'm going to kind of bring the nose out a little more as far as where the lines are. It looks like, I said this is going to be the chin. We're keeping the chin here. It still comes up at this angle. Her cheek is probably still at this angle, so I want her cheek over here to match her cheek on this side. All right. I'm just going to kind of draw some features, even though I don't really see them here, but I'm just, you know, figuring her glabella is going to be around here. That's the little part of your face where your nose bridge starts to happen. Again, I can't really see this part. Her nose looks bigger than it really is because of the angle. You don't even see this eyebrow, so this is all going to be dark. But you do see the eye. So her eyes. Now, I'm not going to try and draw the eye. I'm kind of drawing the shape, the dark shape around her eye. So her eye, very close to her eyebrow, so I'm looking at that space in between. And I'm looking how it comes like this. it down. Again, this is all guessing right here. This is all guessing. I don't know for sure if this is right. It looks like the eye goes out. You know, if we look at the angle of the head. Now, what is her angle? Her angle's like this, right? Let me just draw a line here. Okay. So that's kind of like the angle, drawing a line from the nose to the cheek, or chin, excuse me. And if we maintain that angle, her eye comes out to about where her nostril is. Okay. So we'll say this is the eye in here. And you can kind of see under the eye where the eye socket is. Okay. Just kind of drawing that in there. It doesn't have to stay in there. So the other, and of course inside here is where the eye actually is. So I'm just kind of whittling this down so I can see the shape of the eye. Looking at the white of the eyes. Alright, so this is all going to change. This is all going to change. But just keeping something in here. I'm still using this very soft vine charcoal, which is very easy to change, manipulate, very easy to erase. This is sort of just the rough draft. I'm just making sure I'm putting the features in the right spot before we lock them in. So the other eye would be over in this area. Now I can't see all this, I'm just looking at my drawing. I'm really only glancing a little bit at the original picture because I want to draw the eye like I can see it, even though it's not really there. Just to make sure my proportions are going to be right. Again, I don't know. So again, the eye, if you draw a line down from the eye at the same angle, it kind of is going to hit where the side of the nose is. Okay. So her other eye is going to be in here. You know, maybe like this. This. Of course, again, you're not really going to see a lot of this because it comes out. And then, where's her mouth going to be? Her nose is there. Her lips are very close to the top. Very dark. they kind of come out to where the nose is. Okay, I'm going to try and just think of this as one big shape, not a top lip and bottom lip. I'm just going to kind of draw this as one just big shape. Look at how far down does it come to the bottom of the chin. And see, this is all just rough draft, kind of how I'm drawing these days. I'm just looking to see, like, this doesn't look like anything, right? This actually looks pretty bad. But the point of drawing is not to sometimes always listen to your brain, but just tell yourself it's going to be okay. It's gonna look good when we're done. Don't believe everything right as you see it. Alright, this looks very, very bad. I gotta be honest with you, whenever I'm in this stage of drawing, I'm always freaking out. Always, 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 always. I'm asking myself, why am I filming this? This is horrible, maybe I should just quit. And so now I'm asking myself, where am I wrong? Where am I wrong? Is the nose too low? Is it too big? These are all questions. Questions I'm having. Doubts I'm having. So I'm trying to just slowly add little things, like I'm looking at this hair that kind of goes across the face, and I'm going to use that hopefully as an anchor to give me more information. So now that I draw this line, now look where the eye is. You know, the eyebrow comes here and then has some kind of swoops down a little bit, and that meets the eye, which is over here. I think the nose might be a little too low. If I'm going to say that's where the eyes are, the nose might be a little too low. So which means if I raise the nose, I'm going to have to raise the mouth, which means I'm going to have to raise the chin. But sometimes it's about asking yourself, just, does it feel right? If it doesn't feel right, you need to change it. You got to go, this is sort of like the drawing by intuition. If your intuition is telling you that it feels wrong, listen to that. That's your God-given inner voice telling you what needs to change. So see, I'm just going to move the nose up a little bit. and it already feels a little bit better to me. Okay, so now that we move that up a bit, the chin, it actually didn't have to adjust that much. It looks like we might bring the chin just a little bit higher. Sometimes it doesn't take much. Alright, that's feeling a little bit better. See what I mean? Look how high up we just raised the chin. Okay? We just raised everything up a little bit. And for me, that's a lot how... That's sort of like how I can explain drawing is taking a guess, doing your best guess. If it doesn't feel right, change it until it feels right. I mean, okay, so this is very messy at this stage. Alright. I don't know how much I want to get into here at this point. I guess I can, right? I guess I can kind of draw all this out in this rough draft stage. If I'm saying that's the shoulder and I kind of look across and through, that'll kind of give me where the other shoulder is. Okay. Sometimes you want to, it's kind of important to keep these like rhythms in mind, right? Where things are going to be, helps you out a little bit. Okay, so if her hair comes out, I'm looking at where it comes down to the chin. Looks like it comes just below the chin, like that. And then her shirt kind of starts around here, kind of comes down. And we'll just leave it like that for now. Her breast is going to be in here. Shirt is going to come out down this way. Alright, so I'm not going to color all this in yet with any dark tones at this point. But at least it's now our composition's there. We have it laid out on the image. Let's see, her arm. Gonna go up in here, this area. And then it's gonna come out like that. So this will be the space in between her shirt and her arm, if that's the side of her arm. I don't know. We'll worry about all that later. So, am I okay with this? Are we ready to start moving on to details? I think so. Okay, so all up until now, this has all just been my soft charcoal. And we're going to probably move on to our pencil here in just a second. I'm just kind of just playing with a few things here. Drawing a few more landmarks, few more things. So, what are we in? We're about 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes into this drawing. And we now know exactly how it's going to look. We got our angles down. We got our placement of features down, even though it's all very rough. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to use my pencil and we're going to start working on the features. Okay, I think I'm happy with all this. I think the features look decent. So if I want, I can kind of smear all this and blend it in, but I think I'm going to leave it the way it is for right now. And I'm just going to start drawing it out. And I'm using my number 4 charcoal pencil. And we're going to start making it a little more permanent. I wonder if I should zoom in. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right, we'll give you a closer look. So it's very hard to see what I'm doing in here as far as on the picture. It's very dark. So I'm just kind of establishing the things I can see. You know, I'm looking at this space. I'm looking at the white space here in her eye. And I want to make sure I get that shape. as best as I can. And same with on this side. I'm looking at the white space right in here. Comes down, doesn't quite touch the eye. Inside the eye, she's got a little highlight right in here somewhere. And then her iris, or her iris is in here. Kind of looks like a zombie when you leave it like that, huh? She does have some pretty dark eyes. All right. Let's see some eyelashes. Sorry, I'm not as talkative right now. I'm just kind of this one's a challenge, so I'm really kind of focusing on just trying to get things the way I want them. Plus the eyes are if you get the eyes right, it's really one of the coolest parts of a drawing. Right. If anyone has any questions about anything that I'm doing, just let me know. Just leave me a comment. I do respond to all my comments, so. All right. so far, I am liking what I'm seeing. Now normally I wouldn't draw a line like this around the eye, but if you look at the picture carefully, that's what she's done with her makeup. It's an actual line. Oh crap, I just broke my pencil. Let me sharpen my pencil. If you look closely on her makeup, she's actually drawn her own makeup like that. So I'm gonna try not to go too dark on it. Want to see something funny? Look how short my pencil is. I just use these extenders, and they help extend the pencil, the life of the pencil. Alright, so very thin line here. Kind of comes down a little bit here. And then we have all her eyelashes. Okay, now that we have the eye there, let me zoom out just a little bit. Oop, wrong way. Alright, so I want to make sure we get the eyebrow in here. Now I'm looking at all sorts of things. I'm looking at this triangle right here on the picture. You see that? Always pick shapes out that you can relate to and then draw those shapes. I'm looking at the angle of the eyebrow, and it creates this sort of parallelogram, this rectangle shape. See the shape here? It comes down this way. See that? That shape. So the eyebrow comes here, hits this shape, goes down. How thick is it? We'll keep it the way we had it. This is all very dark. Kind of lightens up as it hits up here, so we won't go dark there. The eyebrow is just about as dark as this part of her eye, so these are all things we're paying attention to. All right. Her other eye, it's very hard to see, but because we did our little rough draft stage, we kind of know it's going to be right about there. I'm kind of looking at the white of her eye to help me out, so I'm trying to draw that little triangle right here. Okay. And we don't see, at least I don't see a whole lot here. She has hair that's coming down here. So the important thing is to always ask yourself, what are you seeing? Just try and draw what you see. If you don't see it, if I don't see the rest of this eye, it's just all dark, I'm going to try not to draw it. Because this is all going to be very dark over here. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of guess. I see there's going to be a highlight in her eye. And if I look closely, it is really a little bit darker where her pupil is, or her iris. I always get those confused. But everything is very dark in here. I mean, it's almost going to be too dark. We're almost going to lose it in the background with everything else. Now look how white her eye is. It's really not that white, so we're going to knock this down, because the eye is never really, the white of the eye is never really white. At least it's not as white as the paper, so we have to keep that in mind. And then sometimes if you add charcoal like I did to the eye and then slowly erase it, it kind of gives it the right amount of gray in the eye. Alright, we'll come back to that. Alright, looking at the nose, it's very important to get the shape. You know, the tip of her nose is, I don't want to say pointy, but it does make up part of her likeness, is that how it comes down to that point. So I'm trying to be mindful of that point. And it comes up. Alright. See, it looks a little too curved right here. I think it needs to be a little longer like that. And then the other side looks like it. Alright, so we'll go with that right now. And let's just work on the eyes and stuff a little bit more here. Remember how I said you can kind of see under the eye? You can kind of see, if you look closely, where the ball of the eye is. That's what creates the little bags under your eyes. I'm not going to do hers dark because, you know, it's going to be, if you make it too dark, it'll make the person look tired. I don't want to make her look tired. She's pretty, so I want it to be... But what I'm doing is I'm establishing this lighter area here. Right. I'm just going to add, I'm just using my vine charcoal, and I'm adding just some of the darker shades of her cheek area. I can see from her nose, from about this part of her nose, if you look closely and kind of go up a little bit, this is all slightly darker. As it comes down, you know, from the nose, it kind of creates where your mouth is. There's this like when you're at the muzzle of the mouth, and right in here, this line, this is all a little bit darker in here. See, so I don't know if it's going to be quite as bright as that's looking, so I can just use my finger and kind of knock it down a little bit. That's the cool thing about charcoal. It's very easy to manipulate. So now we can use our pencil and kind of frame in the face a little bit. Since we know this is all hair up in here. See now, maybe I'll back out a little bit. We got about 3 minutes left, so we're gonna have to take a break in a second anyway. Let's just frame it back up. All right, that'll work for now. All right, so this is going to be the hair up here. And you can see the hair kind of comes up and then down. All right. See, so remember what I was saying before when we started this drawing out, how it looked very, we weren't very sure of how it was coming along, and there was those doubts, the doubts of, you know, maybe not a good drawer. Maybe this is, you know, not gonna work out. Well, those are slowly fading away. Those doubts are slowly fading, and we're starting to feel a little more confident in what we've done. So I'm not feeling as insecure about it anymore. I think this is looking pretty good for our initial thing. So I'm going to take a quick break. It's always important to take breaks when you're drawing. This has been the first hour, and this is exactly where I usually am after about an hour of drawing. We'll come back. We'll do a full second hour of really locking this in. How we locked in the eyes, we'll get the mouth, the nose, the face, and everything. And then we'll finish it up probably in a time lapse. But be right back, and yeah, break time. Okay, back from my break, and I've just been kind of sitting here, and I think I'm just going to start working on the nose and the mouth. And I was asking myself, like, where's the light coming from? Obviously the light's coming, looks like from this side of her, so we know this is all going to be in shadow. This side of her nose is in shadow. In fact, you can even see the cast shadow that kind of comes out from her nose. So I'm just kind of applying the charcoal to the paper and recognizing where the shadow is going to be on this side of the face. Right. Usually the corner of the nose has a little bit darker areas, so I'm kind of not that dark. That's alright, that's what erasers are for. Just going to knock it back down. Alright. She might even have a nose ring, because if I look very closely I could see it's a little darker right underneath kind of where the septum would be, but that's alright, we don't need to worry about that quite yet. Just apply some more shadow here for her cheeks. This kind of comes up underneath the eye. It's a little darker. In this area. And then I can just use, you know, a little blending stump and just kind of slowly blend it in almost like a paintbrush would do. Just smooth it all out. It's kind of fun to draw like this. It's very almost like a painter would do. All right. Again, I'm seeing the shadow on this side of the nose. So I'm making this a little darker. And as it comes up to the eye, it gets even darker in this area. Using my finger to kind of blend it in a little bit. There's a definite cast shadow. Let me put this hair back in here. So this hair kind of comes up and across this way, kind of meets up over here. And I can see coming down from the hair this shadow. I'm just going to lightly draw it because I don't want any really hard lines, but I need something here to kind of show me where the shadow comes to. It comes out to where the nostril is, and then it goes in, kind of like this. If you look closely on the image, you'll see it. So that, I'm just going to add some charcoal here. I don't want to make it too dark, but it has to be a little darker than the nose, so that makes the nose stand out. It's going to make the nose look a little more three-dimensional, creating the shadow around it. Now, we can always come back to the nose. In fact, we're going to have to come back to the nose, but I think I want to start adding some stuff for the mouth. Those eyes, I keep coming back to the eyes just because they're so cool looking. We'll come back to the nose. Let's just get the mouth down here. So I'm going to bring the lips up just a little, and then we can always adjust it as we go along. Alright, it's going to be very, I always have a hard time with mouths for some reason. Kind of comes up, turns over. Very thin, almost can't even see the upper lip as it comes down. I gotta be careful. I find if you draw the middle, if you draw the separation of the lips too dark, it'll make their mouth look more like it's open. I don't really want that. Okay, so I'm saying that's probably the size of the lips. You do see, let's see, this is a little dark there. And then if I'm looking at the lips closely, there's this bottom section. Is darker. So I'm just going to draw this in a little bit darker right now. And then the top lip is darker. It's okay to draw the lips darker on girls because, you know, they're wearing makeup, so it actually, dark lips looks like makeup. Just kind of blending it all in here. Right in the corners of the mouth, it's always a little bit darker. So like right up in here. Alright, so you could see how it gives that impression of makeup on the face. Again, you can see the shadow of her cheekbones, how it meets up where the nose is. Too dark, I think, on the mouth here. All right. Little highlights on the lip, a little brighter on that side. And then there's always a couple little dark spots or dark lines on the lips, so you can kind of add those in there. It's okay to darken the lips again because she is wearing makeup, so I'm feeling okay by making it a little darker. Using the charcoal on my finger to kind of add some tone to the bottom of the chin here. Usually underneath the mouth it's a little darker anyway. All right. Coming along, coming along. All right. All right, so now I can use some of my compressed charcoal to kind of give more broader tone to the drawing. So I feel pretty good about where her edge of her face is right here, so that's why I'm kind of going darker with the tone here. Because remember, we already established all this in the first hour, so it kind of gives us this framework of what to do. I'm just going to color this all in here. And I'm looking back and forth between my drawing and the picture, and it's seeing, does anything standing out that I need to look at? You know, like, got to get the hair kind of flicks out this way over here. A lot of a person's likeness has to do with how you draw the hair. At least that's what I've found in my journeys of drawing. If you can get the shape of the hair down, it actually really can help you out with the likeness. Okay. I still feel pretty good with the way the shirt is here. Okay. Maybe I'll pull it back out a little bit. All right. So let me start blending this in with my finger. I don't want to blend in up in here because that's where we have spots of skin showing through. But I do want to use my finger here to kind of blend all this in. So when I do this, it flattens the hair out, but it doesn't. Notice we don't have any highlights or anything yet. That's what we'll use. We'll come back in with our eraser and get the highlights. All right, this cheek is really bright, so I got to knock this cheek down. So I'm just going to use my finger and kind of flatten this out. Alright, now we'll start making this drawing come to life. That's the goal, at least. Okay. And I think the more we start adding these little details, the darker tones, it'll start to make the picture look even more alive. Okay. I gotta be very careful. I don't want to overdo anything, or I just gotta be careful. Again, if anybody has any questions, or for me, whether it be personal about who I am or my background, or if you have questions about anything you're seeing in this drawing, or if you have questions about your own, style, how to do things, let me know. I love answering questions. That's kind of the whole point of my channel here, is to not only help myself out, but help out others who might need help. So I'm trying to see where her arm kind of goes. Just guessing that it comes up here. Remember, I kind of thought this was it before. I'm not sure. It looked like it's a little too close to her body, so I think it might just come out. Let me use soft charcoal here. I think it might come out like this. probably not going to get much of this arm. All right. We'll say this is the arm. Now look how white the arm is. The arm is not that white. So just to make it look a little more like skin tone, I'm just going to color it in like this. And then rub it in. Because we want it to look like it's an arm and not like it's the background. And so if I erase this a little bit, I don't know if I like that yet, but it's okay for now. Okay, so this eye is going to need some work because it is darker. I can see underneath. Okay. Slowly getting there, everybody. Okay, so this is going to have to all be darker than I have it. Because if I look at this part of the cheek, and then where the hair comes across, and then up here, like this is just all darker. It has to be darker than this area. So a lot of the drawing is doing that kind of comparison, comparing values and then readjusting. See, now I gotta make this hair darker. Okay. Again, we haven't added any highlights yet. Those are all things we're going to work on. All right. All right, so again, under the chin, establish that. The hair kind of comes under here. See, this shouldn't be this white, but we're going to have to adjust that. Shoulder. Shoulder actually looks like it's up closer to where the eye is, like up in here. So see how high we just raised everything up. So I'm not going to go too much detail. I want the detail to be on the face, so I'm not going to put too much detail in all this other stuff, but that's kind of where the arm fold is. Like the cylinder of the arm is here. So let me just add tone in here for now. Again, we do this so it stands out from the rest of the background. And a lot of times your brain will fill in all the details. So your brain will fill in that this is an arm. Even though I haven't really drawn an arm, right now your brain is telling your eyes, I should say, are telling your brain that that's an arm. I need to do the same here. This shouldn't be as white either. So let's just add a general charcoal down. Rub it in. And then with an eraser, we can start picking out highlights and making things darker that need to be darker. How are we doing on time? We got about 20 minutes left of this portion. Right, let's see. This part of the arm, which comes up, like that. Under here is all darker. Again, if the light's coming this way and the arm is like a cylinder, it's going to be darker away from the light or towards the body. Right in here, the crease of the arm, and then I can see the shadow which comes down like this. The shoulder up here looks like it's got more tone on it. Just blending this part all in. Again, I'm just looking at the picture and I'm looking at the tone. I'm hoping that the viewer's brain is going to interpret this the way I want them to. So this is lighter in here. Slowly comes out. It's lighter. We need to go easier on the thickness of the line on the shoulder here. The light hits up here. Right now it's super blotchy. This is not how I want to keep it. You know, the transition between here and here is not that dark, so I'm just going to use my eraser and maybe knock it all down a little bit. That's all drawing is, just adding things, taking things away, seeing what looks good, what doesn't look good. There's actually a line where the light is hitting her top, right along this edge here. See, I don't know if I want to add too much details down in this area just because it's not super important. Okay. All right, so we're almost done with our second hour. Got about 10 to 13 minutes left, so we'll keep doing this part in real time, and then after, since the drawing's mostly done, all we're left with is the refining part. The refining part I will do in time-lapse, where we kind of try and take this drawing and add final touches to it, and those are things we don't need to necessarily do in real time, at least not at this stage of my YouTube channel. Add some highlights on this side of her hair. All right. Alright, so she's looking a little blotchy right now. So that's something that I still need to, that I still kind of struggle with my values. Sometimes if things are blotchy, I kind of erase it and then just re-blend, help kind of smooth things out a little bit. But again, this is, you know, most of the drawing's done, right? We got our proportions down, we saw how he laid it out in the beginning. To me, that's the hardest part. If you get that part down, if you know how to do that, then that's half the battle of drawing. Right. So it looks like her chin needs to be a little darker. Like in this area, we have to establish this part from her chest below her. Just that little line, I think, is enough to give us that illusion. If we lighten up below it just a little, that's going to help. Again, I'm looking just mainly at the certain shapes inside the hair, because the hair really gives it its likeness. And keep looking back and forth at the picture. You know, this has to stand out from here, so I think I'm going to just make this a little bit darker to separate it from the arm. See how this is going to make the arms stand out a little bit more. Alright, see, so I just need to refine some of the blotchiness. You know, it looks blotchy. Those are things I'm working on, so we'll do that in the time lapse. What else do we need to work on? Maybe just adding little details with the hair and stuff. Things like that. So I think if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to take the rest of this time of this video to do a time lapse, clean it up as much as I can, try and make it not look as blotchy. And yeah, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the video.